Hello, my dear friends. I'm very glad to be here. And when I was thinking about what we're going to talk this afternoon, I remember about John. John was a 32 years old man that came to me for a medical appointment, and he was complaining about not having happiness. And when we investigate, he didn't have actually a mental disorder. He was not sad, but he was not happy as well. Mainly his issue was that he was not satisfied with life. Well, what John didn't have was mental health. And I ask you, all of you, what is mental health? What can we understand from this concept? Well, the World Health Organization asserts that mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. It is more than just the absence of mental disorder or disabilities. Well, John, by the time, said that he was not having financial problems or even family or relationship problems, but he was not happy or satisfied. He didn't have mental health, which turns us to think a little bit about situation in the United States. The National Alliance on Mental Illness estimate almost 1 in 5 adults experience mental health problems each year. Okay, in 2017, 11.2 million Americans, or about 4.5 of all adults, had a severe psychological condition. Well, what about even the people who didn't have mental disorders but are not happy as well? In 2020, the World Happiness Report showed us, and if you look a little bit closer right here, right now, you will see that there are some countries, for example, Costa Rica, which is a poor country than United States, for example, that is happier. So, if you look at that, you can say that mainly, basically, money doesn't bring happiness. If money can bring you happiness, what does? What are the aspects? What exactly I cultivate, I do in my life that can make me feel happy? And when I say feel happy, I mean the feeling of well-being most of the time of my life, even if I have conflicts and obstacles. Okay? That's what I mean when I say happiness. Well, that's our discussion here right now. How to be happy. And when I ask you that, and I ask myself, of course, how to be happy, we have to look these 3 factors that determine mental health. Okay? These 3 factors here are personal, social, and environment factors. Okay? How can you understand this? If we have to look a little bit deeper to these factors, we will cluster these 3 factors in 3 bigger themes or 3 bigger steps, okay, to improve each one of these factors, right? For example, the first step or the first thing that we have to improve is the development and the maintenance of healthy communities. How can I do that? Well, one big and important step is to practice charity. Spiritism teaches us that practicing charity, we can improve, we as spirits can improve doing good actions to people who are in need, okay? And when I say people in need, I mean materially and morally speaking. There are people that are wealthy and are suffering in different kinds of conflicts with themselves or even with others, okay? And when you use your empathy and you really listen to this person, you create a connection that somehow just for listening to this person, you are already helping, already somehow diminishing or getting this suffering lower to this person, okay? You can even improve the conditions of your life. Sometimes we just complain about our job, about our boss, but we don't do nothing to change it. We stay in a position of victims and waiting for somebody to come and change my life. And I don't take the responsibility to do the changes I need, okay? To improve, for example, the conditions of my working and the relationships in my working environment, which is a very important thing to do. In based on that, I can also offer social support to the person, to the people that need it. When I say social support, I mean basic needs of food, warmth, and shelter. It's very hard to be happy if you are cold, if you are in hunger, or you are even living in the streets and you don't have social support, right? And with that, you can minimize chances of conflicts and even violence. When I say violence, all the kinds of violence you may think. Violence for people with each other, and also violence with yourself, with suicide thoughts that we are talking here in this webinar, okay? The second step to improve the factors I mentioned is to improve the skills like participating of your community, tolerating diversity, and of course to share mutual responsibility, okay? And for doing that, we have to cultivate positive relationships. When I say that, I'm not saying that you have to have met a lot of friends or virtual friends, followers on Facebook, Instagram, or any kind of social media that you have. But I mean real friends, friends that you can count on, effective relationships. If you have good communication, for example, in your family, are you able in your home to talk about emotions, for example, to talk about fear, to talk about what you're feeling when you're sad, when you're anxious? Can you feel comfortable about talking about this with each other? Do you have intimacy to talk about it? And that's what we meant about of having a good relationship in your family, okay? And doing that, you can also practice more acceptance of these bad feelings that we will have. It's impossible to live a life, mainly in the world we are living right now, and not having bad feelings such as anxiety, sadness, anguish, and all these things that are not comfortable for us. But sometimes we need to feel that, because it's when we feel these uncomfortable feelings that sometimes we urge to change our life sometimes, okay? And the third step, or the third thing about the factors I mentioned, is to improve the ability to deal with thoughts and feelings, the things I've just said right now, and the management of life and emotional resilience, the ability to cope, to have a good coping with the obstacles in your life, the conflicts that you have. And to improve that, we must do things to get better in our physical health, for example. Physical exercise are examples for that. But it's not physical any kind, right? You have to do 1 hour at least 3 times a week, okay? There is a book that I really like that is Happy Brain, Happy Life, and it shows us a lot of studies that aerobic physical exercise help us to improve the feeling of well-being and joy in our lives, okay? Good nutrition as well, and to take care of your sleep routine. Currently, a lot of people goes to bed with the cell phone on or any kind of device, and it makes your brain alert, and it makes easier for you to relax and to have a good night's sleep, okay? Doing all that, you can improve your self-esteem, to enjoy more of you and your body, to feel better with yourself, right? And this can also help you to improve the ability to manage conflicts with yourself and with others, can improve your memory, and also the ability to learn new things, to read good books, to have enlightenment readings, like to have spiritist books, and read all the teachings that they bring to us. And at least a very good practice we can do is meditation. Once Dalai Lama, in a conference with neuroscientists, he said that he confessed that he thinks meditation is hard. Well, if Dalai Lama said that, we can relax and know that it's a hard thing to do, but it's a very good that we give our best to try to do this, because we know that when we improve and enhance even our body cells, that improves our immunological system, and of course our health, generally speaking, okay? Well, doing these whole things, I know that we are not able to change our lives tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, but we have to have this in mind to improve our life here, right now, in the present, and not programming to reach happiness in the future. When I get married, I will be happy. When I get a better home, a better house, a better car, I'll be happy. A better job, no. I'll be happy right now with the things I have, and of course, doing most of the things I'm saying here to improve my mental health, my spiritual health, my biological health, okay? And one book that is very good for us, and that brings up very nice teachings and reminds of us of the importance of all this that we are talking about, is the book Our Daily Bread, and of the Spirit Emmanuel. He reminds us that, confident in God, let us expand our hopes and dreams, completely assured that, just as the old proverbs assert, an optimistic heart is the medical prescription for peace and happiness. So, my friends and brothers and sisters, let's all together do our best to be happy today, in the present, in this life, and to improve our mental and spiritual health in this whole journey of this reincarnation. Thank you for your attention and your patience, and have a good afternoon, a good day, and a good life, all of you. And God bless you all.